Welcome into Rink Vancouver Summer Edition. Andrew Wadden alongside Jeff Paterson here as we take a look at the schedule for the Vancouver Canucks, J-Pat, and we circle some home games that we are anticipating this year. Of course, a big year for the Vancouver Canucks. We're going to want to do well at home if they're going to be a playoff team this year.
Yeah, if they're going to meet their stated goal of getting back to the postseason, then they're going to have to find a way to get wins on home ice, and that's something that they haven't done a lot of in the last couple of seasons. Last year, just 19 wins on home ice, 19, 20, and 2. So, yeah, when we look at this schedule, lots of featured games, and we'll see how many are wins for the Vancouver Canucks.
All right, let's take a look at my top three, and then I'll give way to yours. I am looking at a Tuesday night in December, J-Pat, against the New Jersey Devils, the official Hughes Bowl this time around, as all three of the Hughes brothers are anticipated to be playing in that game.
First time in the National Hockey League that all three of the Hughes brothers will share the same sheet of ice, so that's pretty cool. I would imagine the parents will be in attendance. Of course, the Devils are just a fun team, so I'm looking forward to their one and only visit. And on top of that, Travis Green, the former head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, returns to Rogers Arena. And in fact, he returns 2 years to the day since his dismissal on December 5th. So that just sprinkles a little bit of spice on top of everything else.
And speaking of added spice, there's always added spice when the Toronto Maple Leafs come to town. And of course, a lot of anger when it's a 4 o'clock Pacific start, but it is a Saturday, January 20th. The Maple Leafs in town. It's always an event when the Leafs come to town. But 2 days later, the Chicago Blackhawks come to town. And why is that significant, J-Pat? Oh yeah, they got a guy with the number 98 nowadays. His name, Connor Bedard, the local product, going to make his debut in Vancouver as an NHL player.
Yeah, looking forward to that one for sure. Hawks are only here once all season, so Bedard's first game in Vancouver will have all kinds of hype. Now, he's used to that, and he'll probably live up to all of that hype. But pretty cool for him to come back home, play in front of family, friends, former minor hockey teammates. I'm sure lots of people will be looking to get their hands on a ticket to see Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks. So I like the fact that it's half a season into his first year in the National Hockey League, and hopefully he's in mid-season form when he arrives back home in Vancouver.
Those are my top three. What do you got?
Well, Bo Horvat's return is the one that jumped out at me immediately. November 15th, the Islanders are here. Kind of like the Devils, usually not a lot of hype for a visit from the New York Islanders, but not so much this time around. The former captain comes back. Be interesting to see the reception that he gets. I think it'll be a warm one from the paying customers. But of course, he took a little jab at Vancouver and Vancouver fans.
How does this rank for you in playoff pushes, the excitement of this building and the fans' involvement over the last couple of games?
Yeah, I mean, it's been unbelievable. It's a lot better than Vancouver, I'll tell you that for free.
But absolutely, November 15th, Bo Horvat and the Islanders back at Rogers Arena. That's one on my list. I love home openers, and I think this year is going to be special for a couple of reasons. One is they start at home, and that's something that they haven't done in a while. But also home and home to start the season with Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. McDavid always worth the price of admission, but so much importance for the Vancouver Canucks on getting off to a decent start. When they face McDavid and Draisaitl in the league's best power play, that's going to be a challenge. So we'll see if this Vancouver team under Rick Tocchet is ready right out of the gate. The other game that I'm looking at, and it comes late in the season, so I'm going to have to wait, but big Nate McKinnon fan. The Colorado Avalanche only make one trip into Vancouver as well. March 13th, you got McKinnon, you got Cale Makar. Both of those guys capable of breaking games wide open on their own. And both are a handful and likely will be for the Canucks that night. But two guys that absolutely entertain, do everything at top speed. So, yeah, looking forward to the Colorado Avalanche. They're not the Stanley Cup champs, but they're not far removed either.
Star power is what you've got circled on your calendar, of course, with Nate Dogg, Connor McDavid, Bo Horvat. Oh, and don't forget, another local product, Matt Barzal, showing up for the New York Islanders when they come to town. Who do you got circled on your calendar for the Canucks schedule next year? We'd love to hear from you in the comments. And as well, if you're not following the podcast, you can find us on your favorite podcast platform. We got summer series pods coming out each and every week throughout the summer. All right, this has been another edition of the Rink Vancouver podcast presented by Bodog. For Jeff Paterson, I'm Andrew Wadden. Remember, Rink is the show that always scores.